what we're gonna go through is how to put together the glue core extrusion procedure. So we've got our rod here. We've secured it on flat ground. Check that out. We've got stakes driven through it. We've got the nut here. The nut's gonna be driving. I'll wait for.
No, go. Keep going.
To do that. Here we have the nut. The nut's going to be driving the extrusion process. On top of the nut sits a big fat washer. On top of the nut and washer, we've got these two plugs. Let's stop right there for a minute. So we've got two different types of plugs that we're using. One plug has a hole in it and has a lip on the bottom that the glue core itself will sit upon. We'll show that in just a second. That plug goes on the bottom. So the plug with the hole in the lip goes on the bottom. The next plug does not have a hole, but does have threads that screw into the top of this rod. That plug will go on top. So right now, I'm going to screw that plug on. It's now fully screwed on. It can't go down anymore. So again, we have a plug on top that screws on with no hole, a plug in the middle with a hole and a lip on the bottom, and then the washer, and then the nut. The next thing that's going to happen is we're going to put the actual core on top of this. Demonstrating how one...
Start over. Alrighty, we're going to continue. Go.
We're going to continue demonstrating how one extrudes a glue core. Here we have a core. Notice that the top is full of water, and the bottom, approximately 37 centimeters in this case, are full of sediment. So we've already gone over our little extrusion device here. What me and Jeff are going to do, we're going to put this guy on top here. We're going to cleverly remove the orange cap, and that will somehow have our core here sitting on top of these two pucks, we're going to call them. One of the things that will happen when we do this, everything's going to be pushed up a few centimeters. So although we're currently at 37 centimeters, we'll soon be a couple centimeters higher. That's what's going to make life a little confusing for us. But that's okay. So, why don't we start? Alrighty, so now that we have the extrusion device on top, which we used our handy dandy socket wrench to help us with, what I'm doing is I'm taking the nut on the bottom and I'm screwing it downwards. And as I screw it downwards, I'm pulling down on the glue core, and that is pushing it up. What's being pushed, yeah, that's pushing it up, which is why we have all this water leaking off the top. Very exciting. So I've got a few more centimeters of this to do. Once I get the sediment happily at the top, we're going to start collecting it centimeter by centimeter into our little plastic baggies. The tools we will use include a little putty knife and sandwich-sized Ziploc bags. You can stop right there.
I can?
Yeah. So we're now extruding a core. What we've already done is push the water off the top by screwing the nut down. Now we've gotten to the fluffy sediment at the top. And Dick, if you would zoom in so they can see that. What I'm going to do is push a ½ centimeter up. So, Jeff, if you'll watch me here. Right now we're right there-ish.
I'm going to come in a little closer
So we want to
here.
bring it down, well, let's see, a full centimeter would be right there, so a ½ centimeter somewhere around there. If you want, check it out, for the first one, grab this guy. Let's measure us out a ½ centimeter. Tell me when you're ready and I'll start pushing. Alrighty, so what I'm doing now is screwing the nut down and I'm pulling the core down with it. The sediment itself is staying put because we've got an unmoving piece here.
That where? Point out the unmoving piece
right
again?
Right here, we have a
yes, okay, I gotcha.
That is not moving. The sediment sits on top of that, so as I pull the core down, the sediment gets pushed up. Jeff, are we at a ½ centimeter?
No, a little more.
A little more?
Okay, stop.
Cool. You know what we should do is, for the next one, just go to a normal centimeter marking, and then we can make this much easier.
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, so the top one's always a little sloppy.
Okay.
And we've got just some sludge up here. Dick, if you want to come around and zoom in on this so you can see it.
Zooming in from the other side. Just a second here.
And we'll have a better example in a couple.
Just a moment. Just a moment. There we go.
Alright, so it's just kind of soft fluff right now. I'm basically just trying to get it all in and scrape across and not dig into the core. That's the key part. Cool, that's good.
May I stop?
So what we have here is the results of a few twists of the a few twists of the nut. And you can see the way it is now raised above the trough. So you're now going to
come in as much from the side as you possibly can, Jeff. Just a moment. No, you just turned it, didn't you?
Yes.
We're going to do something different.
Okay. Come up above.
Yeah.
Alright, so what I've found the best technique is using my spatula. I'm going to scrape first one side off and then the other. What I'm going to do, my best to do is not to dig into the core. So I've got this part of the spatula flat against the trough to keep me from doing that. Observe. We scrape, we put in here, then Jeff takes his fingers and puts it around the spatula and pulls the mud off. Now,
You're going to do that a little more slowly next time so I can catch it. I wasn't prepared for that.
We're going to go a little slower next time.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side.
Just the Jeff.
I'm anchoring the spatula on the trough so I don't dig in. And I neatly slice off the top. Now Jeff, in the plastic bag, takes his fingers and grabs that blob of mud and pulls it off.
Are we done?
And there we have it.